talking to Heather Massie. How long did it take you to put this all together? When did it become real for you?
Well, it was definitely a process. I'd been thinking about developing a one-woman show for a time, and it was really late 2013 when I really started thinking about it, and I was thinking about a woman in science to feature as a solo piece. And so it was around October, November of 2013 when the inception of the project was, specifically with Hedy.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a bit of a process, which ended in me writing a play in 2016, just before Memorial Day. And I just immersed myself in the research, found the things that spoke to me, wove them together into a story, into the play Hedy, The Life and Inventions of Hedy Lamar. And in that process, I also watched all the films of hers that I could get my hands on, and also in the process of developing the character in rehearsal. So I got as much as I could, and I especially appreciated any footage of her where she wasn't playing a role, where she was on camera but she was herself.
I love that piece beginning with the slideshow audio and all that, because for a second there I couldn't tell who was who. I think you're supposed to.
That was the idea the projectionists had.
Okay.
And there are images of Hedy, and there are images of myself as Hedy, and they're trying to blur those
lines
before I step out on stage.
That was well done. I love that.
Thank
I love
you.
that.
So,
And then the little bits and pieces of just stuff blended in, the phone calls. Now, how did you had to study people like George Sanders apparently a little bit too, because that wasn't too bad.
yeah, there are a lot of people to study. That's the great thing about the show. There's always someone to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So I include a lot of other actors of the day and a lot of other people in her life in the show. I felt that would be a lot more interesting for me and a lot more interesting for the audience to have other characters show up than to just have Hedy speaking the whole time.
Right, yes.
So George Sanders and Jimmy Stewart and Louis B. Mayer, and some are more literal, more literal interpretations of the people, and some, especially those that are lesser known, might take some dramatic liberties in order to color the piece as a whole, in differentiating the characters.
So, when into the process did you say, "I think I've got this. This is what I want to do, and I know where I'm going with it"? But you still had to refine it, didn't you? There was a lot of.
Oh, it's in process every day.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I change words here and there, and every once in a while I go through the script and update it to the way it's playing now, and refining it. So I feel like it's continually in process, and that makes it exciting.
Yeah, I guess it would be like an incredibly long run, and you just know.
Yeah, so this would be
How much are you counting shows?
98th. I've just counted, so this would be my 98th show. Performance of the show, and tonight will be 99.
Oh, who's going to be 100?
100 will be North Little Rock, Arkansas.
North Little Rock. Okay. There's some interesting things down there. If you get a chance, well, you probably won't, but Hot Springs, Arkansas is a beautiful little place. They've got a little convention center down there. It's a nice little resort town. It's amazing for its size, what they do down there, just for grins. How many people does it take to put this together? I mean, people think about, oh gosh, it's a one-person show. I bet, it's like, oh, she probably does all this herself. But you need a lot of people.
At this point, I do a lot of it myself, although each place I go, I have a different team. And this one was fantastic here at the Cube at the Moss Art Center at Virginia Tech, because I have my technical director who lives near here, and also a fantastic team of people. I don't know that I've ever had this many people working in the theater.
Can you mention them? If not full name, just first name if you don't want to give their full name. Could you? Because I want people to know it takes a lot of people to make things happen.
Oh, well, here there's a full team for Moss Arts Center.
So it's most of those people?
And then also, in terms of developing the show, I worked with my friend Blake Walton. He did some direction and artistic consultation on the show, and also Leslie Kincaid Burby. They're both wonderful directors. And then the projectionists, Jim and Charlie Marlowe, the projection designers. I've had 2 sound designers, Jacob Subotnick and Andy Evan Cohen. At sound designers, they've worked on it at different times. And then my dialect coach, Paige Clements. And now a lot of it is me because, well, I wrote it.
You know what
and
goes where.
I perform it, and I produce it. So all the bookings I do myself.
Oh, wow.
I'll eventually hope to have someone working with me on
Right.
bookings, but for now, so far, it's me. So I've learned a lot of different things.
So where do you plan on going? I mean, I saw that you've been in other countries, other continents, and done this. It seems like you really want to get this out there.
Oh yeah, I always wanted to do an international tour, and it didn't happen. So now I have an extended international tour. Yeah.
Any countries you haven't covered yet that you think you can go to or want to go to?
Of course. I'd love to do Australia, New Zealand.
Japan?
Sure. I have never been to Asia, so I would like, I could go to Singapore. I had foreign translation for the show.
I was
the
wondering
first
about
time.
that.
In Rome, there were Italian super titles
Okay.
for the show.
Oh, great. Just like the opera.
Yeah, just like the opera.
Brilliant. So, I mean, how does it translate to people? Is it differently from here, from over there? I mean, some people don't speak English as their first language. And
Well, I'm sure it was a different experience for people who don't speak English, reading it in Italian. And of course, apparently with super titles, some things have to be condensed depending on the speed or what's going on stage. So they get a feel for it. And then if they know some English, that works too. But I'm sure that's a different experience. There's a reciprocal festival to that one in New York where Italian artists come over to New York City and have English super titles. I didn't get to go last year. I was on tour, but I will get to see some of their shows this year. So I'll see from the other side
Okay.
what the experience is like.
I heard about some interesting technology that translates almost instantly. Are they working on it? Where you can catch the language.
I saw
Okay.
an advertisement for that
Okay.
device.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
So you can, talk to anyone.
which is amazing. It's amazing. So there's a wonderful technology.
So the technology is a part of this show, and you're seeing it develop around, well, a lot of her inventions in a way.
Yeah, a lot of our wireless technology is based or uses
Yes.
Hedy's technology.
Could you
frequency
explain that on the program? There was the design and everything. Do you have any idea what that means? Because I was like looking at it like, that looks like it's pretty scientific. But I'm like, I have no idea.
There's an image of the patent
Yes.
in the program. Yeah. I would need an engineer to explain that.
Darn.
We had one speaking about the science prior to.
Oh, that's
prior to
right.
the
Okay.
show.
I was still
He's
driving
gonna
around
he's
looking
gonna
for
be
space.
back at 6:30
Oh, is
if
he?
you're able to be
Okay.
here. Yeah, talking about science. So, I mean, I explain it in the show in terms in
Layman terms,
lay
please. Yes, because I
essentially.
couldn't.
So,
Even then, I was a
So-
little not quite with you there on that one. So.
oh yeah. So her invention was for torpedoes. It's a communication system called the secret communication system, and the idea, in order to have a secure signal, was instead of transmitting directional information, guidance information to a torpedo on one frequency, radio frequency. Well, that kind of way is dangerous because it can be intercepted
Easily, yeah.
by an enemy. So
Scrambling.
changing frequency,
Scrambling. Oh.
yeah,
I think I saw that on Star Trek.
hopping frequency is the idea. So she called it Frequenzsprungverfahren, which is German for frequency hopping. Of course, she made it up.